Yes, people. How are we all doing? Welcome all back to the channel. 2 streams in 2 days. Crazy, I know. I should make it known. There may well be a point in the stream where I have to switch Wi-Fi because my wonderful internet is playing up like you wouldn't believe. So I am ready for the switch over. Husam might have to carry the stream for a couple of minutes while I get that going. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm sure the comments will let me know how it's going. But we're here. Husam x Tom on the first of all, it's 2 streams in 2 days for me, which is mental. You know, consistency off the charts by my standards. But we're here for a Husam x Tom. We're going to talk Chelsea on the weekend. We are going to talk Elliot versus Szoboszlai, and what does the future of the number 10 position hold for Liverpool. We are going to be talking the contract situation, along with the news that come out today from Dave OCKOP about Trent Alexander-Arnold and the confidence around him signing a new deal at the football club. And we're also going to touch on Alisson Becker and Mamardashvili and the comments that Mamardashvili made. And could it be sooner rather than later that we see the Georgian become Liverpool's number 1 with the injury problems that Alisson's having? But I couldn't do the stream on my own, people. I've got to bring on the man who claims he dragged me out the doldrums and made me who I am today. We'll give him a bit of praise. We'll say it was a decent scouting job. It was like, spotting someone doing well at Brighton and bringing them to Liverpool. Big ups, my guy, Don Husam. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good. Happy to see you stream 2 days in a row as well, which is a record for you. That's like the most streams in a row you've ever done. Are you going to score the hat-trick and stream again tomorrow? God knows. Probably it's Friday tomorrow and you're a little bit of an alcoholic, so probably not. But big up to everyone who's locked in. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing. I see Tom is streaming this on Twitter as well. Big up if there's any Twitter OGs in the chat. Let us know. You get me? I see Arthur in the chat. I don't recognize your name. I'm sorry. But if any of the OGs, the Spaces crew, someone like that is watching us, make sure you let us know in the comment section. Big up to all of you guys. And listen, I didn't make Tom Little. Tom Little made Tom Little with all his shit takes. Just went viral 500 million times. You get me? So, yeah. And listen, from the start of the stream, I have to carry it, which is what usually happens when it's a Husam x Tom stream. Very happy to see Aaron in the chat. Aaron is usually asleep at this time. So, big up to you, Aaron. I like Aaron in the building. Tom doesn't follow well. Oh my days. Oh my God, there's so much wrong with that. Oh my God, Tom doesn't follow well. Nah, that's rude, Tom. That's rude. Don Husam with a 6, YouTube.
I'm back.
Snapchat, the X. That's the only place I'm on, to be fair. But yeah, I'm very proud of you. You've streamed 2 days in a row. This is very good for you, you know.
I know, and I brought on someone that wasn't you. We've hit multiple milestones in the past 2 days.
Listen, I didn't make Tom Little. Tom Little is like, since he mentioned Brighton, Tom Little is like a Baleba, you know. Everyone knows he's good, and everyone's just waiting on his big money move. He made the big money move to Don Husam's channel, called This Is Football at the time. We gave him a primetime spot, and he just banged it out. But yeah, it's very good to be here. I'll expose Tom, though. This is Tom. Tom wants to get back to streaming. He messages me. He's like, "Are you free?" I'm like, "Listen, Tom, always free to jump on my channel." I'm like, "Okay, Tom. So I'm looking for, let's talk about Chelsea. Let's talk about the Premier League coming back." Tom's idea is greatest Liverpool players of the 21st century. I'm like, "Tom, this is a video in July when there's no news or at the start of an international break." I told him the Premier League, 3 days, it starts again. And you want to talk about the greatest ever Liverpool players of the 21st century. I'm like, "Can you just get on, do a preview, and then get me on so we can talk about Liverpool?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're right. And yesterday he got Don on, which I really like. That was a good stream, except you get me falling for Don's bait. But yeah, we're here. Today I dismantled Don.
Was I falling for it? Or was I setting it up?
I mean, it's a good idea from you, but yeah, it's Chelsea Don. That guy's a little weasel, Don. I was on the stream with him earlier on the terrace today. The guy's a weasel, but he couldn't weasel his way around me. You know what Don does? He takes your word, twists it like a yoga instructor. He has that footage Ajmo gene. He just twists it like a yoga instructor and then gives it back to you. And like, but why are you guys acting like Liverpool are the best team in the world? I'm like, no one said that, brother. Why do you like? Why do you hear voices in your head so much? But anyway, Nick, no one's a fan of you. Literally, no one is a fan of you. No one switches on YouTube to watch CNN Australia. No one. So yeah, big up though.
I don't know. I appreciated his video of analysing man and Don's argument a couple of months ago on the Dan Potts channel. That backing me up. I appreciated that. He's not the only one that actually praised me. Everyone else was just going to Don. I appreciate a little bit of praise that I got. Big ups.
Big up CNN Australia on the chat. Big up. Like the video chat, by the way.
Yes, that's something I should be saying more of, but I'm crap at it. That I subscribe as well. I need to put a Sam's link in the description. I will do that before the stream ends and it in the title. But there's only one place to start alongside this man, the man who has made a death note list of Chelsea fans to deal with ahead of Sunday's game. I think you should. Whilst I put your link in the title and the description, I think you need to show the list to the people.
I'm going to share screen right now. This is the whole list right here. Watch. This is the whole list right here. Just share screen. This is the list. I made it on the Notepad app. I'm going to be taking attendance. You get me? All these names are names of Chelsea fans who think they're going to get something this Sunday. Every single one of them. You get me? And I have a whole list. Terry and Mo, they waffled. Yeah. Yes, those two, they waffled on the straight facts. So they were added to the list. All these guys are just on the list right there. See? All of them. I'm going to be taking attendance this Sunday. And if I say their name before the watch along and they're not there, inshallah, you cannot say anything to me. So yeah, I'm going to cook all their asses right there. The Weasel, Finney Haas as well. You know why I made this list? Because you know what happens on these watch alongs? They wait for like Chelsea to go 1-0 up first, right? Or something. And then they tune in. I'm like, no, I'm taking attendance from the first exact second of that game. I'm taking attendance. You have to be there. If you want to cook me, be there from start to finish. Also, Vel has just reported to me that you don't even follow him on Twitter. Is that true?
That may well be true. I don't follow a lot of people on Twitter.
That's so rude. You can't not follow Vel.
I will address that after the stream.
Yes. Follow him. Tell him you're at in the chat, Vel, so he can follow you. We need to smash these on Sunday. Aaron, I'm so with you because I'm so bored of it, bro. I'm actually so bored.
I didn't realize how much they backed themselves, you know. I didn't realize how much they thought.
Can I just give you the final statement before you fully start the stream now? Yesterday, I know you've heard of the show. You've watched it a couple of times. Yesterday on Al Ahwa, Ziad put 8 players in a Liverpool-Chelsea combined 11. 8. Can I tell you who's combined 11? Listen. Alisson, Reece James, Van Dijk, Colwell, Cucurella, Caicedo, Lavia, Palmer, Mo Salah, Jackson, and Jadon Sancho. Yep. There you are. This is ladies and then they come tell me, why do you cook Chelsea fans so much? You know, people always say Arsenal fans are annoying. Have you guys seen the Chelsea fans' performance for the last month? This is just because they won a couple of games, by the way. That's it.
How the fuck's Reece James make the combined 11?
Well, we're gonna have to ask Ziad that. That's what I'm saying. Chelsea fans just suffer from mental.
Reece James still makes combined 11s off 2021. The prop that man has is unreal.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, are you putting him in this combined 11 based on 2020? Like, it can't be based on recently.
Reece James still makes combined 11s because of performances he put in when Morata was still at Juve.
And when Tuchel was Chelsea manager. He went on to manage Bayern Munich and is now the England manager. That's mad. Lampard was Chelsea manager. Now he's a full-time pundit.
Honestly.
That's how long ago that shit was. Look at Vel's comment. Look at Vel's comment. I can't lie. After that banger, you must follow him now. Like, you must follow him. Tell us your at. Follow you right now. You can't do that. Can't have him bring locked outside. But as you said something, I know you've noticed it more now that you've worked with like a lot of them and stuff. You've realized now how much they back themselves this Sunday. Does that actually shock you?
Yeah, they're gonna back the team. I'm not against that, and I understand why. They've had a good start. You know, they've seen the team finish 12th, and now they look a little bit competent, so they're taking that and running with it. But to sit there and say that they reckon they can come to Anfield and win 3-1, 4-2. It's mental. They're going up against the best defence in the Premier League, for one.
Yep.
Best defence in the Premier League, conceding 2 goals. One of them should never have happened because it was a fucking calamitous error from Konate, which won't be repeated.
Yep.
They're going up against an attack which has scored in every game but one it's played this season.
Mm-hmm.
And they have problems. They don't have their first choice left back. They don't have their first choice centre back. And they're coming into this game. They're coming into this game like it's a Stamford Bridge.
Tom, you're lagging out here.
They're coming into.
You're lagging out a little bit. Can't lie to you. You might need to restart your router and come back. I'll carry the stream. Don't worry. Just restart your router and come back because it's just too much. Here's the thing. Look, when it comes to Chelsea, this has nothing to do. Wow, welcome to Tom Little. Takeover. Hey, inshallah, one day Qatar take over Liverpool. Oh my God, how many signings we'd make? We'd become the best team in the world. Here's the thing. I was one of the people that said Liverpool might not have the best defense in the league because we haven't really played like teams of caliber. But what made me change my mind is last week I was like, yo, City are conceding goals to Fulham. Arsenal are conceding goals to Leicester and Southampton. We have to be your HD, you have to be the strongest defense in the league. Because the same teams, because there are 2 teams that compete with us in terms of strongest defense. That's Arsenal and City. If Arsenal are conceding goals to Leicester, Southampton, and the rest, and City are conceding goals to Ipswich, to Brentford, to Fulham, by definition, we're the strongest defense in the league. Simply by definition. Because we're keeping clean sheets to the teams that you might say you're expected to keep a clean sheet against them, but the others aren't. So we're doing what we need to do. And even in the Champions League, we kept a clean sheet against Bologna. We conceded one silly goal against AC Milan, but then we kept a clean sheet against Bologna. In the West Ham game, the goal that we conceded, literally it was Quansah clearance onto Endo clearance onto a West Ham player, and it just pinballed into the back of our net. So
we scored it. It was an own goal. It came off constantly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For me, I really believe we have the strongest defense in the league.
Stats wise as well, you can't deny the stat. I mean, people will say, "Oh, XG isn't relevant." If you understand XG, you understand its relevance. We have, and we have like a 3.8 XG conceded. And the big thing for me about that is about 1.7 of that has come when we've been 3-0 up. So if you take it, so the games won. Man United and Bournemouth, they're the 2 games where we went 3-0 up and then conceded a couple of big chances. You take away those games, we've got an XG conceded of just shy of 2 in 7 games. And that includes giving Wolves an open goal to score.
That's actually insane. That is insane.
Like, the quality defensively we've got to start this season is ridiculous. If Arsenal were doing this, people would be putting Saliba in conversations that he shouldn't be in. Gabriel would be in conversations that he shouldn't be in. Ben White would be in conversations that he shouldn't be in. When it's us, Van Dijk's getting no praise. Konate's getting told he's not better than Colwill. Trent Alexander-Arnold's getting told, oh, he's still overrated, still can't defend. Blows my mind. And you move further forward.
And selection did it at the start of the season. You did it slightly. Here's the thing. When it comes to defending, I understand what people say in terms of like on the ball. But I feel like the difference between Konate's ball playing and Quansah's ball playing is way smaller than the difference between Konate's defensive work and Quansah's defensive work. Like, I feel like as a center back, just a center back, someone who could tackle, intercept, block, get in behind, help with Trent, what Konate offers us, Quansah can't. Gomez can't, by the way. It's not just a Quansah thing. On the ball, I acknowledge Quansah is a lot better than Konate. But I'm willing to live with the fact that
I was actually going to concede. You were going to get a Tom Little concede early on that Konate's actually shocked me this season with his ball playing. I didn't... I think we agreed last year that it wasn't as good. But in the first 7 games, especially the Bournemouth game, I want to single out the Bournemouth game here because Iraola basically just told everyone to mark Van Dijk out the game and put the pressure on Konate to be the guy in build-up. And he pinged the 70-yard ball all the way over the top to Diaz's foot.
Did.
And I've never...
You know the Colomwani miss that they keep playing every day in the World Cup final? That was a Konate pass, by the way.
Konate pass? Like I didn't know he had this in his locker. And he's impressed me. He's impressed me so far this season. I can't knock him for that. And I'd never disagreed on the fact that Konate is better than Quansah defensively. He's got a bigger frame. He knows how to use his body better, and he's better in a tackle. Quansah still shakes out of tackles. Quansah's still a little bit dodgy in duels at times. We look at Konate and Van Dijk. We always knew how good a partnership they were. We saw it in the first season. It was always just a case of fitness. And in the best case, Joel Matip was always a really good competition to have. Again, very early on, 10 games in, we're doing all right on the injury front, bar Alisson. You know, by this point last season, Konate had been injured. By this point last season, Jota had been injured. They've played a lot of minutes so far this season, and they haven't picked up any injuries yet. Now, massively touch wood, banging on as much wood as possible.
Don't say it. Please don't say it. Whatever you're going to say, just don't say it, please. Don't even mention injuries. Don't even put it in the sky.
It looks good to start with, and obviously as we move further forward, the team's been good. I mean, you predicted a big win at the weekend, 4-1 or 3-0, depending on if they score in the first 15 minutes. Does any part of Chelsea worry you?
Two players, Palmer and Caicedo. That's the only two players that worry me, because I know Caicedo is able to defend at a high level in terms of tackling. I know he's very good in terms of taking the ball forward, in terms of ball carrying. Palmer obviously is creative. He can create chances. He can shoot from far. He can take a set piece. So that part a little bit worries me. But the others, with all due respect, is this 2017 for me to be worried about Jadon Sancho? Are we playing Dortmund away 2017? Am I seriously, as much as I'm not a fan of Robertson, am I going to be worried about Noni Madueke? Wow, shiver me timbers. Enzo Fernandez, people don't realize this. I promise you, watch this Sunday, Arne Slot. And I'm willing to make a bet with anyone in the chat.
You'll put Gravenberch on Fernandez.
Yes, if Enzo starts, I promise you, Enzo Fernandez will be the targeted weakness of the midfield three. I promise you this is going to happen this Sunday. Enzo Fernandez could not even show his qualities against low block from hell Nottingham Forest. Imagine when he's pressed. And we saw what Kovacic, by the way, who's nowhere near as good as Gravenberch, Kovacic pressing the Chelsea midfield destroyed them. And you look at their back four. Vega on the left. God, I hope he plays Chilwell. He won't. But Vega on the left. On the right, Gusto, who's been cooked by every single winger this season, admittedly by Chelsea fans themselves. And then you've got Colwell, no Fofana, Tosin Adarabioyo, and in goal, they've got Robert Sanchez. If we cannot abuse that back five, whoever is starting in the front three, sub them all off in the half and bring on the other three. Because that is the most barbecue chicken back five we've played all year long. Vega, who's not even a left back, playing left back. Gusto, who's a makeshift winger.
That's the only thing that bothers me, though, and I think you'll agree with me here. Vega being an out of position guy playing left back in his first real test in the Premier League, it just seems like one of them stupid games which happens where he puts in the performance of his life and manages to keep Salah a little bit quiet.
Yeah, but they have way too many
stop him from getting on the ball.
You'd expect Jota to get the better of Adarabioyo and Colwell.
Oh,
right?
yeah. He's going
You'd expect Diaz to get the better of Gusto. So even if Salah ghosts and has a shit game, we still have the other three to abuse. And that's not Sanchez as well in goal. Mr. Bozo moment.
Chuck a couple long shots at him and he flaps.
100%. If I'm Slot, I'm asking Szoboszlai shoot from far, but make sure it's on target. Just shoot on the goal from far. I'm asking him to do that. And yeah, I cannot wait. And that's why Szoboszlai has to start for me. Just run at Enzo, bro. Every time Enzo
I'm glad we agree on the plan with Enzo, which is put Gravenberch on him. Move into a more traditional 4-3-3 and just pin him with Gravenberch like we done with Mainu at Old Trafford.
Oh, you're talking about like the Man United thing.
Yeah, I want us to run that same midfield style that we done at Old Trafford. Because Colwell's going to be the guy building up. But most of the time when Chelsea try and build up out the back, Fernandez gets the ball at some point. Because he's captain fantastic and he cost 110 million. We've got to give him the ball. We've got to try and get our money's worth. If you just have Gravenberch waiting, and in the moment it's passed, he's on him. Enzo Fernandez ain't winning any physical battle with him.
This is so true, by the way. You are right. That's why I was shocked to start Curtis Jones. I'm like, this is not the game for him.
No, because I'd still I'm still not against starting Curtis Jones, but not instead of Gravenberch. I still want to do the same thing. But Gravenberch has to be on Fernandes because even in the first phase, if Gravenberch is picking, if we're trying to build out the back and Enzo tries to press Gravenberch, he's getting span into next week, man.
And the thing is, as well, Palmer don't really track back like that. Palmer
Yeah.
doesn't really track back like that. So you're essentially going to be putting yourself in a 3v2 situation every single time. Now, the reason why I still think you're wrong on the Curtis Jones take is this has nothing to do with Curtis Jones's qualities. Szoboszlai is our version of Gallagher. And I said it on the stream earlier on with you. And it is true. He's our Gallagher, essentially, but with a bit better technique. These are the games last season that Gallagher cooked in. Gallagher cooked versus City. He was good versus us. He cooked versus Arsenal. Every single time Gallagher played in one of those games, he actually cooked. But that's the role for him in this game. That's why Szoboszlai for me has to start in this specific game right here. Now, the week after we play Arsenal, I also want Szoboszlai to start. But if we're playing Brentford at home and you tell me, yo, I'm going to drop Szoboszlai for Curtis Jones, I have no problem with that. But in those big games where I need to pin down someone, because me and you agree, Enzo Fernandez is the weakness. If Enzo Fernandez is the weakness, logic dictates I'm going to put the guy with the biggest engine on the weakness. And I'm just going to tell him, run, brother. Szoboszlai, all you've been doing from the start of the season is running. How about you run again? Just run. Every time Enzo gets the ball, I want Szoboszlai on his neck. Because that will help us so much. I promise you, just from that alone, whatever Curtis Jones will give me, from that alone, I'm going to create 4 or 5 chances. Just him fucking it up, Enzo Fernandez. So, yeah.
My gripe with that is I want it to be Gravenberch on Enzo because I still think if you put Szoboszlai on him, then Gravenberch kind of doesn't necessarily have a man to pick up unless you want to double up on Palmer, which I'm not. I can see the logic behind that.
Exactly.
You want to double up on Palmer with McAllister and
Gravenberch together.
Gravenberch on him to try and limit the ball getting into as much.
Because Caicedo creatively ain't gonna hurt me.
Yeah, my line is if I put McAllister in the 6, I am running the risk of Palmer getting a little bit of space. But it's in order to pin back Caicedo and Fernandes and almost force Chelsea into long balls. Because Colwill can cut you apart with a pass or two. But I think Slot would clock onto it very quickly and push the fullbacks up and pin their wingers back. This is another thing that happened in the stream earlier. They're going, our wingers against your fullbacks. Very rarely this season have we let our wing-backs get isolated 1v1. How many times have we seen Salah or Diaz busting a gut to get back and help out the fullback in the 2v1? Like, we are not the same. If they were on about last year, 100%.
I realize something. People don't even watch Liverpool like that, the way that they commentate. Like, it's just, they don't really watch the club. Like, they don't really watch and fully analyze what the hell is going on. Like, no one. Like, I'm someone who, as you know, Tom, I'm not a massive fan of Robertson. But I know.
Yeah, I know.
He can handle Madueke. Come on now. Like, where are we going with this shit? He can handle Madueke. Maybe if you tell me Pedro Neto, that might be a bit of a test for him. But if Madueke is starting, don't talk to me like I'm supposed to be sat here just scared of fucking Madueke. Like, where are we going with this football discourse of which a Chelsea fan wants me to admit I'm going to be scared of Madueke? They say, oh, this season he's becoming effective. Yeah, 3 of his 4 goals he scored in the Prem all came in one game. Like, how, like, effectiveness is doing it over an 8-game period, 7-game period, 15-game period. Imagine Luis Diaz scored 6 goals this season, but 5 of them came against Man United. Are we going to say Luis Diaz is effective? No, because it's about doing it consistently. And speaking of, I don't know if you've changed your mind on Diaz having to start this game or not.
I still want Gakpo starting.
Oh, Tom. Gusto, man. Just need someone to run at him.
I get that. I get that side of things. I think Gakpo can run at him, and I think it's 2 different types of problems when someone's running at you like that. Diaz is skill. Diaz will beat you with pace and skill. Gakpo will beat you with strength and quality of pass. And
Gakpo will beat you with IQ.
Yeah, and Gakpo's got more of a frame, and I think the way Gakpo turns out of it, I love the way he receives the ball on the turn and bang out into space. I don't think Diaz necessarily does that as well. I look at it in the sense of if they're going Tosin and they're going Renato Vega, there's going to be space. There's going to be moments There's going to be.
Can I ask you the $1 million
little bits
question?
where
And I'm not letting you get away with this.
Mhm.
Forget what Tom wants. Who do you think slot starts this Sunday?
Diaz. I think he starts Diaz.
Yeah, what the hell? I actually think he starts Gakpo.
I think he starts Diaz.
I think he starts Gakpo. I want Diaz to start, but I think he starts Gakpo. Wait, so you think Gakpo should start, but you think he starts Diaz?
Yes.
But I
he
think
starts Diaz.
because Slot is the type like that rewards players and shit. From what I've seen, the fact that Gakpo got the assist against Palace, I think he's just gonna run it back.
I'd hope he does, but I think he's going to look at it and go, Diaz has given me 5 goals this season. Diaz is our top scorer this season. I'm not playing me top scorer against Chelsea at home in my biggest game of the season so far. I look at it in the sense of they're bringing in players out, not necessarily from the cold.
Start. I'm so shocked, honestly.
No, I think it'll be Diaz. I really do think it'll be Diaz who starts.
Fairs.
But I want Gakpo's quality of pass. I want Gakpo's delivery. Because I think Salah is going to ghost off of Vega and he's going to ghost off of Adebayo and Josh is going to ghost off of Colwell and Adebayo and they're going to find space. And I still don't back Diaz to pick out the pass. But I've seen Gakpo's delivery. I know that if the opportunity came up and Gakpo saw it, he's putting that cross in. He's playing that pass. Whereas, to be fair, the one thing we've agreed on is Nunez shouldn't start up front.
Hell no.
It should be Jota up front.
Yeah, Jota, 100%.
Because he's got the IQ to pin them centre backs back. I understand your line with Diaz as the left winger because I think he in a direct 1v1 up against Malo Gusto.
Exactly. He's the type to cook Gusto, basically.
Yeah, he done it at Wembley in the Carabao Cup final last season. I know that in a 1v1.
He's the one that lives in a
more times than not with him.
His Wi-Fi lagging out. How does this make sense?
I'm not even on Wi-Fi, Husam. Do you know what's funny? My Wi-Fi is completely down. Yeah, I'm having to run off a hotspot because the Wi-Fi in my place is completely down.
I'll tell you what to do because I used to do hotspot a lot. Just put it in a place high in your room. So like just find like a stack of books or your PC, just put it on top of it. Just wherever is high. Yeah, just go there and it won't lag. Hotspot is actually good. But the thing is like, you know what I'm telling you? This is what I'm telling you. Look, the Nunez thing, I'm aware because Selection was probably watching this, just having the biggest erection whenever Nunez is mentioned. I don't know why.
I'm 6 foot, by the way. None of this 5'4" nonsense.
There you are. That's a lie. Anyway, with Nunez, he would probably help us create a bigger volume of chances. But the thing is, the slot system is the following. We don't create as many chances in the slot system as we do the Klopp system. We all can sit here and say the truth. Same way we can all admit slot has made us more sound defensively or whatever. Fine, but going forward, it's a lot better in the Klopp style because we create a shitload of chances.
Yeah. Now, it was chaos. It was chaos going forward.
Exactly. Let's say we get 3 big chances in front of goal, 3 1-on-1s. Would I trust Jota with them or would I trust Nunez? I definitely trust Jota. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of we just don't create that amount of like unbelievable chances for us to like rely on Nunez. Essentially, this Sunday we cannot have Nunez hitting the bar 4 times and going like, "Yay, Nunez!" We cannot do that. This Sunday, it's about clinicalness. It's about taking your chances. It's about having moments.
This is your chance to send the message. Nunez can't play in games where you want to send the message because he's not going to help you send that message.
Yeah, Legends can no longer send the message.
The one.
Go ahead, Tom. You're saying?
Am I back?
Yeah. The one what?
The one thing you'll give Nunez is he's unbelievably clinical when he's offside. When he's offside, I've never seen a better finisher. Even in the game against Bologna, had 2 chances onside, missed it. But that one where he's played through and he's ran early, that might be the best finish he's had at the football club. Composure, sent the keeper the wrong way with his body and then put it in the other corner. Why can't he just do that when he's onside?
Yeah, but he does the same shit for Uruguay.
He's so frustrating because he's got all the attributes you'd want physically. And he does a lot of the things that you'd want in terms of run making. And a lot of the intangibles he does. But that one aspect that he should have improved on by now, he just hasn't. He just... And
I think there comes a point in time where you just can't keep giving people chances, I'll be honest with you.
Do you think that I know it's a little bit off topic. Do you think that's kind of playing with Jota's mind, not in a bad way, in the sense of Jota kind of knows that Slot doesn't rate Nunez, so he's not necessarily too worried about his position in the team, especially since Slot's made it clear that Gakpo's a left winger for it. He's not a striker, he's a left winger. So that's another potential striking option. Threat gone. It's literally just Jota versus Nunez for that position, and Jota kind of knows that Nunez ain't really a threat for that.
I'm with you, and I'll tell you why. I think the fact that, listen, Slot's actions speak louder than his words. The player that he's substituted the least out of the front three is Mo Salah, because he rates him the highest. It's so obvious.
He should have took him off against Forest, but yeah.
Yes, but you get what I mean. The actions speak louder than the words. Forget what he says in press conference. Forget any of that. And I'm the type of manager, and I'm the type of guy, even Tom can vouch. I never even took what Klopp said seriously. I always say, listen, they waffle in front of the media. They're media trained, shit like that. I'm not going to sit up here and take personally what Slot says. But look at his actions. Anytime there's been any game of caliber that we've played, that's been a bit of a difficult game, that's a game that against an opponent we rate, he started Jota. Meaning, Man United away, start Jota. AC Milan away, start Jota. First game back in the Champions League at Anfield, Bologna, start Jota. Bounce back game after Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth.
Nunez started Bologna.
Sorry, Bournemouth. Sorry. No, because that was after Forest. Because that was after Forest. That was when Jota had a really bad performance that day. So he figured, okay, let me give Nunez a chance. But my problem is, listen, we see the movie over and over and over again. And we ask ourselves, is ever the ending going to change? The only time I will sit up here and go like, you know what, you guys were all right on Nunez, it was time to give him a chance, is if he's clinical. It's getting to the stage where you can take your chance creation, your assists, your big chances created, your pace, and you can shove it where the Shandong sign. Because it's all about clinicalness. If we simply, and I know sometimes people say, oh, Husam, you're making football too basic, blah, blah, blah. If we go back in time 2 years, and Haaland moves to Liverpool, but Nunez moves to City, no exaggeration, we would have had at least one league title and probably one or two more domestic cups. And I don't think City win a single league title. Because, prime example, the Brentford game. I did a stream with LB and Northside earlier on today. LB, who's a City fan, City through and through, goes to the games and all that shit. You know, Mank, born and bred, essentially, because of goal difference. That's what he told us last season. But anyway, LB, he says himself, against Brentford, they were crap. Haaland, in 2 moments, wins them the game. All I've ever wanted from my striker is to just be clinical. That's all I fucking wanted. I'm not asking, I don't care if Nunez doesn't have a first touch. I don't care if he can't pass. I don't care if he can't dribble. I just want him to just score the chances that we give him. And this is what I'm bored of. Hold your run. And this is where IQ can't be taught. And I'll tell you what I mean. Name me a centre back in the entirety of the Premier League quicker than Darwin Nunez right now.
Van de Ven is the only one I'd say.
Okay. Anyone else?
Van Dijk, but he's on our team, so he's not going to go against him.
He's on our team. Have some shame. Okay, so that's it. One guy.
I don't even think Saliba's quicker than him, so I'd just say Van de Ven.
So what's 19 times 2 is what? 38.
38, yeah.
Out of 38 Premier League centre backs, only one is quicker than you. Hold your fucking run. Because if Nunez starts at halfway line, he will probably get to the penalty box quicker than 3/4 of the Premier League centre backs. Just hold your fucking run. It's not difficult to hold your run, but it's difficult when you don't have IQ, when you lack football IQ, when you just don't understand the sport. And then people go like, haha, Nunez is funny. But I'm glad that is going away step by step. People are going like, I'm no longer laughing. I'm no longer going like, haha, wow, Nunez is amazing. He makes me laugh. No one is doing that shit anymore because we want results now. Even yourself. It's no longer like, oh, Nunez for a laugh and any of that shit. People just want execution because it's season 3. If you watch 2 seasons of the same exact concept and then season 3 starts and you're saying the same shit again, you ain't gonna sit up here and go, oh wow, Nunez is this.
Yeah,
Nunez is that. Come on.
The novelty of Nunez has worn off, man. And it stopped being funny long ago, and it started just becoming very annoying. But big ups my guys City for the £2 super chat. Big up you two frauds. Win on Sunday incoming. Before we move on to talking about the contract situation and the news today, You said 4-1 on all
Yep.
the other streams I've seen you on. I'm not going to ask you for a score prediction, obviously. Who do you think is going to score for us, Don? Who do you think is going to be the guy who gets the big moments for us?
You just call me Don. Why are you being so like formal?
I never called you Don. I never called you
Husam.
Don.
What do you say? Who do you think is gonna score for us? Don. That's what you said.
No. Who do you think is going to score in the big moments for us? Who do you think is going to be the guy to
Oh.
turn up in the big moments for us?
I think Salah's scoring in this game. I think Jota's scoring in this game. And I actually back whoever is playing left wing to score 2 goals. And I think Salah's going to get at least 2 GA, 1 goal and 1 assist in that game. I think all our front 3 are eating. I'll be honest with you. Even if it's Gakpo or Diaz, I think the getting in behind Gusto is going to be a sweet treat for us to watch. So I think one of them score. I'm not going for any of the midfielders because I think the midfielders will be busy doing a job and just pressing the fuck out of their midfield and destroying it. And here's the thing that I just don't want to see. Imagine we're like 2-0 up at halftime and we're ruining Enzo Fernandez's life. He takes off Enzo, he puts on Lavia. Game changer, just like that.
Yeah.
I hope you guys know this, by the way. If Lavia comes on, now, different Chelsea directly.
If Lavia comes on...
Lavia. Yeah.
If Lavia comes on, that's almost your moment to bring Jones on. Because at that point, you don't need Szoboszlai on to press the shit out of Fernandez. You need someone who can hold up the play and retain the ball and kill their momentum almost. I feel like Curtis Jones is going to have a part to play. I'm not saying he'll score anything, but I do think Curtis Jones will have a part to play. For me, I'd love to go as confident as you. I'm going to go 2-0. I so want a clean sheet. I
think there's a big possibility we keep one. I'll be honest with you, genuinely, it's just about the first 15 minutes because Chelsea are going to come out the blocks firing. Like, oh, we're Chelsea, we're here to prove we're them and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And usually we start slow. So let's just say it as it is. Usually we start slow and the opposition starts quicker than us. If we handle their first 15 minutes, we're good. If we don't, we're going to have to come back. That's how I look at it. But here's the thing, bro. Like, Konate and Virgil van Dijk versus Jackson, I'm good.
Robertson that's another one. That's another duel that Chelsea fans have been going on about all week. How Jackson causes your guy problems.
Konate, I'm like, what, bro? Konate literally played the World Cup.
And then they pull up moments like, oh yeah, in the cup final when he created 3 chances, 2 of them were offside.
Yeah,
it's like giving Nunez praise. Like the reason you didn't win that game in normal time was because Jackson couldn't time his run properly, and he was offside for the pass to Sterling. Like. I almost feel like Konate and Van Dijk are underrated. And it sounds mental to say, but I'm hearing names like Jackson causing them problems. Konate's dealt with Vinicius. Ballon d'Or winner, Vinicius. And you're telling me Nicholas Jackson is going to be the real problem for them. Let's not even get started on who Van Dijk's dealt with. But Nicholas Jackson's going to be the problem. Like, it blows my... This is the thing that shocked me. Chelsea really rate their team. Arguably overrate their team. Like, they're not... They're playing well. They're not there yet. And in the same way they've... In the same way they've battered us...
Chelsea fans don't think that, though. That's your issue. Chelsea fans do not think that. They think they're there.
But like in the same way they battered us with the stick of, you've not played anyone great, you've not played anyone amazing yet. You've only played teams in the bottom half. They've only really played City.
Yeah. No, they haven't played anyone
outside of that.
What kind of nonsense is this?
They played City on the first day, but in the same way that they had Barrow in the cup, we had fucking West Ham.
Exactly.
Like I would say. It obviously City is probably the difference maker in the list, but the level overall of fixtures between the two teams is close. But we're the guys who are going to get found out because it's been easy. I just think it should be a reality check for them on the weekend, in the sense of you're good, you've got good players, you're not at this level yet, you're not ready to be talking and put yourselves in conversations that you've been trying to put yourselves in.
And this is why I say, Tom, this is why I say what I say, bro. because like Chelsea fans have been doing too much. We've seen our squad getting compared to Chelsea, our starting 11 getting compared to Chelsea. Same with the Arsenal fans. I mean, you were talking about Don earlier. He said like 2 Arsenal players start for Chelsea. Okay, then Chelsea are this
Ah,
like title contending incredible team. But at the same time, they tell you, oh, it's phase 1 and blah blah blah. It's like they speak in a way where they expect to win this Sunday, and then when you tell them we're gonna smash you, they're like, oh, you don't respect us. I don't respect you to the level where you come to Anfield. You know who when they come to Anfield, I'm worried. City,
City.
Arsenal, Real
Mhm.
Madrid. Okay, those games, of course, I'm not going to sit up here and go like, we're going to slap Arsenal 3-0. We're going to beat Madrid 4-1. I'm not saying any of that shit. Because when I look at Madrid, I'm like, shit. Chouameni, Camavinga, Valverde, Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Rudiger at the back. Fuck. When I look at City, I'm
Mhm.
like, they've got Erling Haaland, they've got KDB, they've got Foden, they've got Ruben Diaz, they've got John Stone, they've got Ederson, who can pull them. When I look at Arsenal, I'm like, they've got Saka, who's created the most big chances in Europe. They've got Declan Rice, who's
Mhm.
going to run around and cause havoc. They've got players who can
Saliba.
create chances. They've got Trossard. They've got Saliba and Gabriel at the back. We might struggle to score. You know, it makes you ask questions. But then I look at the Chelsea
Mhm.
side, I'm like, okay, Cole Palmer is fantastic. Caicedo is fantastic. The rest, like, they're literally all question marks. Sancho
They've
could
got
play
Madueke.
Yes, Sancho could play incredible this Sunday, but then Madueke plays like shit, or vice versa. So, like, why should I
Mhm.
be worried? That's what I'm saying.
They want the best. It's almost like they want the best of both worlds. It kind of reminds me of Liverpool in 14-15 when we spent all the Suarez money.
Yeah,
And we wanted to be as good as we were the year before, but we brought in a bunch of younger players. You can't have the best of both worlds. This ain't
yeah,
career mode. Like you can't be ready to compete with all these top teams whilst sitting there with young players who need time to develop and are going to be great in years' time. Like no, it's just not the case. So I'm going to go 2-0. I think honestly, I think this could be a game for Maka. I think Maka could turn up with a big moment in this one. And he's a guy who's went under the radar of a lot of Chelsea fans. They're all
I know.
going on about Gravenberch, and rightly so. But McAllister, you saw it when he went off against Palace. We look so much worse without him on that pitch.
Yeah. That's why I was mad at Scaloni for playing him 90 minutes. I was like, you
Oh,
mother.
yeah.
You're playing Bolivia at home.
But that's Chelsea out the way. We need to talk about the big news today from Dave OCKOP. Let me just find the
You
tweet.
couldn't just say Dave O'Cop. What kind of utter woke nonsense is this? Look who's on the chat. Look who's in the chat.
Hello, Don. Let me just find this. I'll find it. But it was along the lines of his exclusive and
Don, switch on your Snapchat during the game if you're a man. I'm going to call you after every single goal we score. When we score the first, the second, and the third, I'm going to call you.
Dave
So
O'Cop's exclusive was talks are progressing well between Liverpool and Trent Alexander-Arnold over a new deal. Liverpool are hoping to tie him down to a multi-year deal, with confidence growing that a deal will be reached with all parties. Trent is willing to give Liverpool as much time as needed out of respect for his boyhood club. That, considering that for the last week and a half, we have been subject to any and every Spaniard with more than 1,000 followers on Twitter revealing that Trent Alexander-Arnold wants to join Real Madrid and it's at varying stages of completion. Does this exclusive give you any confidence that Trent's going to sign and that he's made the decision to stay, or do you think it's a little bit PR work from our side?
I saw your tweets about Trent and it upset me.
I still stand by that, by the way, and I'm happy to talk about that. I am happy.
But that's because you're just a Jedi with zero understanding of the world around you. The truth of the matter is, Tom, look, if I'm in Trent's place on a reel, I'm packing my bags and going to Real Madrid. Except if I have one conversation with Michael Edwards and he convinces me that I am going to fix the club moving forward. Meaning, if you have one conversation with Michael Edwards, with Richard Hughes, you sit down, you're Trent, you say, listen, take this money and you can shove it where the sun don't shine. I don't care about the money. Tell me right now, what's your 2-3 year plan to get this level, to get this club back to the top, to do this, to do that, etc., etc., etc. And this is for me like, listen, we say, oh my God, Trent is leaving on a free. He's not a Liverpool legend, all that stuff. Any player that was massively involved in us winning the two big ones is a Liverpool legend. Because the same way, listen, you know who signed this shirt? Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia's quality is nowhere near Mane or Mo Salah or any of these guys. But I assume we all call him a Liverpool legend just because of 05. So that 18 to 20
Legend's a
round,
strong word. He's an icon.
okay,
He's not a legend.
but remember when me and you, remember when Wijnaldum left and I said he's not a legend? Why? Because I'm talking about the players who I'm not talking about even a B plus player. I'm talking about the A plus. In order for you to be considered in that element, who's a Liverpool legend from that team? Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk. You might say Robertson, which I have no problem with because at the time he was phenomenal. You've got to go Mo Salah and Mane. Those are the six.
Firmino as well. Firmino as well.
Yeah, but Tom, here's the thing. Firmino's like more like streets won't forget, icon. But when you say legend, I'm talking about like Dalglish status, you know, like Dalglish, Ian Rush, Graham Souness. I can't, with all due respect, I can't put Firmino next to them. As incredible as he was, he's just a little bit of a tier below.
I would them. I would.
Okay, that's fine, but let's not argue semantics here. My point is, Trent was heavily involved in the biggest game in the Klopp era, which is Barcelona. And Trent was heavily involved in us winning the Premier League because he broke a record for assists that season as well. And currently, I'm looking at the direction that my football club is headed in, and I'm worried. Why do you think I'm on Chelsea's neck this season? Why do you think I'm yapping this season a lot? Because this is my last dance season. You need to understand, Tom, next season we're going to be in the doldrums. I promise you. If any of the three leave, and I'm not like Ryan, I'm not like any of these guys who are choosing favorites. If Mo Salah leaves, it's okay. If Trent leaves, it's okay. If that guy leaves, it's okay. We need all three. Because all three players win us games. All three players are world class. All three players start for any team in world football. If I'm doing a Madrid, Liverpool combined 11, Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, and Mo Salah is in that combined 11. If they can start for Real de Madrid, the biggest club in the world, then I should be mad at my club for not showing the ambitions to keep them. And I know, and by the way, me and you both know, this isn't a money thing for Trent. This is a legacy thing. He meets up with Jude in the England team and he's like, this guy went from a very good player at Borussia Dortmund to a Ballon d'Or contender. Dani Carvajal is getting nominated for a Ballon d'Or. Dani Carvajal is not even a top 5, not even top 10 right back of all time. And he's getting nominated for a Ballon d'Or and people are putting him in a serious conversation to win it. So Trent backs himself to go there and to get and to do that. And for me, if I'm Trent, I'm sitting with Michael Edwards. I go like, this January, sign players. Next summer, sign players. We have to take this shit to the next level. You've been raving on about Liverpool from the start of the season. So have I. Everyone's been happy. Add to this team Zubimendi. Add to this team a centre back. Add to this team a left back. These are the things that we have to have conversations about because these are the things that make a difference. Trent, when he's sat in his bedroom just staring at the ceiling, it's 1 a.m. and he can't sleep. Do you think he's thinking more like me or is thinking more like a top red? Like, oh, we don't need anyone. We're going to beat everyone. Because they always say they've come out publicly and said it. Van Dijk said it publicly. Alisson said it publicly. Trent said it publicly. Salah said it publicly. They're saying we need fresh faces. We need help because Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk and Mo are 4 world-class players, incredible, phenomenal individually, and they go home and they look at their cabinets and there's only 1 league title and 1 Champions League. Is it their fault? No, it's not. So we need players around them. We need to build around them. Had we signed Zubimendi, I promise you I'd be confident to win the league. Had we signed a centre-back, a left-back, and our demands are no longer crazy demands of which me and Tom are sitting here going like, you reckon we can sign Mbappe? Like, no one is doing that, bro. Because people always like, even you're FSG out, I know that. But like, people always come back to us and like, oh, this is not FIFA, this is not Football Manager. Okay, bro, but Zubimendi is not a FIFA signing. Ait Nouri is not a FIFA signing. Like, the players that we're talking about isn't players that are so unrealistic. We're talking about players that Liverpool can afford, Liverpool can sign, Liverpool can get. And me and you done a stream 24 hours or 48 hours before the transfer window ended. When the club was just panicking over Alan Varela. I don't know if you remember. You remember that moment, like 24 hours just before the transfer window. I'm like, bro, Zubimendi said no. The smart thing to do would be the day after, hello, Porto, we want Alan Varela. Why? Because there's 4 weeks left in the transfer window. And now I give Porto time to replace him and I can negotiate. Next day, Varela. Varela doesn't work. Next day, Ederson. And it's okay. The prime example of this whole conversation, I'm going to summarize it now. I'm going to land my plane. The prime summary of this whole conversation. Timo Werner was Liverpool's plan A for about 2 months. We signed Diogo Jota. In hindsight right now, and I'm going to ask this chat, would you rather have Jota or Werner? If anyone writes Werner, you're trolling. Jota is the plan B who has played 500 levels above the plan A. You get what I'm saying? And now we come back all the way back to Trent. You're 25, 26. This is the contract you're going to sign in your prime. You're going to sign the prime contract of which this is what defines your career. I'm going to go home 10 years from now, look at my medals, and 25 to 30 is where I win all of my medals in my prime, playing fantastic football, right? And you go and you look at at Real Madrid and Liverpool. One club just signed one of the best prospects, one of the best players ever in Kylian Mbappe to add to their team. And one club signed Federico Chiesa, who was the big shit 4 years ago after Euro 2020. And this is the levels difference we're talking about here. If plan A doesn't work, that's okay. Plan B. Plan B doesn't work, that's okay. Plan C. Plan C doesn't work, that's okay. Plan D. Keep going until you get what you need. No one can convince me that Zubimendi is so incredibly special that he's the only one that makes us better. With all due respect, we've got Curtis Jones and Wataru Endo on the bench. And that's just not good enough. As good as Curtis Jones was, and as fantastic as Endo was for his level, they're still not compete with Man City level. And this is where all this lands back to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And if he left to Real Madrid tomorrow, I'd clap for him. I'd go like, well done. If I was in your place, I'd do the same thing if I put my emotions towards Liverpool Football Club aside. And this is where we have to show ambition to keep our best players. Now, I want to say one thing as well about Salah. Just quickly, Tom, I know you want to as well say, tell me your opinion on it and we can have a discussion. I've seen people, Ryan and other people online, claim that Salah is the least important contract. I feel like, and Tom, I promise you, inshallah, we'll be here alive, happy, doing YouTube streams. I promise you right now, and I promise everyone in the chat, if Mo Salah leaves, that is once and for all will be the one moment where everyone in the chat once and for all realizes how important Mo Salah is to this Liverpool team. I'll explain to you what we mean. All it's going to take is for us to sign a right winger who has 7 GA in a season in 38 Premier League games, and everyone's going to sit up here and go like, no fucking way we went from Mo Salah's numbers to this guy right here. There is absolutely no fucking way. And until Mo Salah leaves, that's when people will realize once and for all, like, yo, this guy is actually like our best player. If you look at the Klopp era, overall, take everything into account, 7 years, ups and downs, everything. Over a 7-year period, I would be 100% entitled to say Mo Salah has been Klopp era's best player. Consistency, performances, different system. I mean, the season alone where all our centre-backs got injured and he carried us to Champions League football.
31 goals he got that year.
That's what I'm saying. In those 10 games alone, playing with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, Fabinho at centre-back, Thiago DM, Wijnaldum passing the ball back every time he got the ball. That is when everyone will realize once and for all, he's the guy. And this why, for me, ambition is important. Sign players. Get shit done. Simple as.
People still underplay what Salah does.
Yeah.
Because it's normal for Mo Salah to do what Mo Salah does. Before Mo Salah, no winger was averaging 25 goals a season, let alone putting 10 to 15 assists alongside that. If you want to replace Mo Salah, you've got to make that up, those contributions up in some way. You've got to make up 40 goal contributions in some way. Now, if we had a striker coming through that was in a position to have 20 goals, and Gakpo was ready to take the next step, and Diaz was ready to take the next step, then yes, I would feel slightly more comfortable in moving on from Salah, bringing in a top right winger and trusting in the 4 options there to cover the goals. And we'd still be weaker, but I'd trust the 4 options to make up most of it in aggregate. Right now, if we get rid of Salah, I don't know who's going to make up that aggregate of 40 goal contributions, because whoever we sign won't. You're not signing a Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, fact.
That's a generational player. You're not signing a Mohamed Salah now. So you've got to look at the situation going forward. I like Mbuemo, and Mbuemo is a name that's been thrown around. He's not going to give me Salah numbers.
No one
And
can
we don't
replicate
have
that. No one.
We don't have the attacking unit yet to make up those. Let's say Nunez moves on, you get a new striker in, and Chiesa really adapts to the team and settles in well. Then maybe you'll lose at least 10, but you might be able to manage it overall. But to say that he's the least important is mental. Absolutely mental. They're all as important as each other. Now, you know about the Trent thing. For the people who won't have seen, I noticed their numbers on Twitter. I said if Trent Alexander-Arnold was to leave Liverpool on a free to go to Real Madrid, he's the worst one of the lot out of all the Scousers who've left Liverpool. And I stand by that. And I don't know. I don't know how to say this without pissing people off. It's different for me in the way that I look at it, because he's living my dream. He's living exactly what my dream, and he's done it in the same place that I wanted to. He is a Scouser who's grown up, played for the club, won the big honours with the club. Not right, but he's a player. It doesn't matter what position you played. He's a player.
Oh, I thought you meant like you growing up as a right back.
No. But he's a player who's grown up as a Liverpool fan, come through the academy as a Liverpool fan, broke into the first team as a Liverpool fan, won the top honours as a Liverpool fan, become one of the best players in the world as a Liverpool fan. And all throughout this time at the football club, all he said is one trophy for Liverpool means more than winning it at City. A trophy for Liverpool means more than winning it anywhere else. But doing it for your... I'm going to take a quote from Gerrard here, who said this. Winning one for your people means more than winning 5 for people there's no connection with. And for me, that
Tom, do you really believe that? And I'll tell you, but you know why it's different? Because Trent won already. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Trent won already anyway. So it's not like Trent has 0 Prem, 0 UCLs with Liverpool. He has already 1 and 1. He has a medal with Liverpool Football Club. Now, if you're in his place, you're about to sign a prime contract. Real Madrid, you're going to win 3-4 Champions Leagues, 3-4 La Ligas by the time you're 31.
But it won't feel the same.
But how can you say that? Winning is winning.
Because every player every academy graduate who's made the switch from Liverpool to Real Madrid has said the same thing. McManaman won 2 Champions Leagues in 3 years with Madrid, and he said both times didn't feel right. Winning it for your people means more, and there will be. I will. There's 2 reasons for the hatred. If he goes, and I'm not someone who's going to beat around the bush and say, "Oh no, I still like him." I'll be very blunt. If you leave the club in acrimonious circumstances, I don't want you to succeed, because I am not selfishly, I'm not a Trent fan. I am not a Van Dijk fan. I'm not a player fan. I am a fan of Liverpool.
Yeah, so why don't you blame the club then?
The club deserves blame. I broke it down I don't know if you saw my tweets later on where I broke it down. Trent signed his contract in 2021. He signed his new deal in 2021. In 2022, the focus was on getting Salah's deal done, and Julian Ward was the director of football, and there was the whole carry-on upstairs. There was too much boardroom drama to really get contracts done at that time. Hence why in that season, no new contracts were signed. Going into 2023, this was the summer where I think the murmurs and stuff started to, and the idea started to develop in his head. Schumacher came in, and it was Jürgen and friends running transfer business, and as such, contracts were put to the side and weren't a focus, because we were focused on rebuilding the midfield, and we had all the fucking carry on with Caicedo and Lavia and this, that, and the other. And Schumacher was fucking useless at the best of times, to the point where the only contract we got done while Schumacher was at the football club was Tsimikas, of all people. And that was a 2-year extension because he was going to go out of contract, and it just had to be done. Now, I think that the big thing here is the Jurgen Klopp announcement that he was going. If Klopp had stayed on, or it had been clearer in an idealistic scenario, there was more certainty around the future of the football club in January 2024, I think Trent would have signed. But the moment Jurgen Klopp announces he's going, the club's strong-armed, because no player is going to sign a new deal without knowing what the football club looks like under the new manager. You'd be an idiot, Tim. So straight away, we've lost 5 months, and we're now into the last 12 months of the deal. And whether you like it or not, whether people agree or not, Liverpool have a good manager in charge. Liverpool have seemingly got a good guy in charge of the football club.
Can I ask you an honest question? Do you think
well.
Slot went to Hughes this summer and said, sign me Zubimendi or no one? Be honest.
No, I don't think so. But I also...
You think he knocked on his door and he's like, I've assessed the squad and I think we need a DM. That's a more likely conversation, right?
Yeah, I think how it went this summer.
So do you think the club have let Slot down as well?
In a sense, yes. I feel like what's got to be understood here is I think Slot knew what he was signing up for. I think Slot will have been told that this is how I run, or Hughes or whoever. I think it would have been Edwards doing the interviews. Edwards would have said, this is how transfers run at this football club. It's first choice or no one. Or if there is an exceptional second choice, we go for the second choice.
But is it fair to say now that way doesn't work? 4 years of doing this way, we know now it doesn't work.
Not necessarily though, because it's brought us a number of good players. I think there's got to be.
4 years. 4 years we're at the mountaintop. We got to the mountaintop. We won the Champions League and a Prem.
There's got to be distinctions made though.
0 UCL, 0 Prem. Put it this way: if me and you were doing this video in 2020, we just lifted the Premier League. I say, Tom, for the next 4 years, we're not going to win a Premier League or a Champions League. What would you have said? Husam, you're negative. You're crazy. Now look, we're living it. We are living it right now. Think about it. Why were we at the mountaintop and we've been pushed all the way down? Because of that concept, because of those theories, because of those ideas, because of the fact that we either sign plan A or no one. And by the way, this was shown in the season where we finished fifth, where it's like, we don't need a midfielder. Why do we need a midfielder? And then we went in for Chouameni. Chouameni showed us the middle finger. And instead of us signing one player, but you know, Tom, deep down, that season we finished fifth. I'm not saying DM would have made us title contenders, but at least we would have finished top four.
It would have got us top 4.
Yeah, at least we would have finished top 4.
But the difference here, though, is that wasn't done under Edwards' recruitment. That was done in the shit show. I take what happened from 2022-23 and last season. That's its own fucking bubble. And
the other 2 seasons before?
The other 2 seasons before, one was a shit show with centre-backs and whatever. I do put that on the first choice, and I've not shied away from that.
Yep.
We were dead set on Konate, and we got fucked over by the fact we drew Leipzig in the Champions League, and they wouldn't sell him, and his release clause came into effect the next season, and then we just paid that. But we didn't want to go for a second choice until deadline day, when Matip broke his foot and was out for the rest of the season, and we threw shit at a wall and hoped something stuck. I agree on that front. The season afterwards, I don't sit there and look at that and go, oh, that's a disgrace, that. Because whether we like it or not.
Who made the difference for us in the quadruple charge season? Don't be disingenuous. Say the truth.
Luis Diaz.
And you know me, Tom, I'm not even a fan of Diaz at all. But in January, we were about 13 points behind Manchester City. Him coming in allowed Mane to play as striker. Now, if I edit that to the first 6 months of the season, if I put in Luis Diaz from the first 6 months of the season, different season.
But Sam, this is the big thing about Diaz that I feel like a lot of Liverpool fans don't really acknowledge. Diaz exploded in that first half of the season against Porto. Before that, I pulled up his numbers here. Before that first half of the season of 21-22, before we made the move for him, in the entirety of the year beforehand, he got 6 goals. The season, Sam, hear me out. No, because you've got to hear me out here. In the 6 months before we signed him, so from August till January 31st, he got 14 goals in 18 games. That jump is monstrous. No, but it is the point, because Diaz wasn't on the radar. Diaz was not on the radar.
I'm not saying whether he's on the radar or not. I'm saying, let's assume it wasn't Luis Diaz. Let's assume it's someone else. Like, the point is, my whole point is, every single season. One second. Every single
Mhm.
season, a signing has made a difference to our season. Every single year.
Mhm.
We understand we make quality
Bar,
signings.
bar, the, bar the
We just
title
want to
season,
make
yeah.
more of them. I watched Arsenal against Atalanta. I saw with my very own eyes. I watched Liverpool against Atalanta with my very own eyes. No one can tell me that Ederson wouldn't have made a massive impact on Liverpool this season. Massive impact. Massive. And by the way, even if it's just a rotation impact, even if it's look at our next 3 games. Okay? Chelsea, Leipzig, Arsenal.
Mhm.
Chelsea, Gravenberch, Ederson. Leipzig, you rest Gravenberch, Ederson, McAllister. Arsenal, Gravenberch, McAllister. Normal. Like it's just that's what I'm saying. It's about rotation. And you know who does that the best? Pep Guardiola. He doesn't play a player every single game, every single game, every single game. He rotates a lot. Now, did you see what happened in the Carabao Cup game against West Ham? We lack such serious options that we had to bring on a Mo Salah. We had to bring on the serious players, even in a Carabao Cup game on a Tuesday night, on a Wednesday night. This is the issue that I have with this whole thing.
We
The
didn't have to
problem
bring
with
them on
us
though.
is never been the starting 11. It's the depth, bro. That's always been the fucking issue at Liverpool Football Club because you don't have enough difference makers. How big of a role did Shaqiri and Origi play when we were successful? Hell, even Minamino. Why? Because you had players off the bench who
Shaqiri's role
can make
wasn't
that
actually
difference.
that big.
Quadruple touch season. If Takumi
Mhm.
Minamino didn't exist, we don't win the
You
FA
don't
Cup
win the
and we don't win
cups.
the.
Yeah, I
100%.
agree.
Okay, those are the 2 trophies that make that season
But
not a failure.
But Hassam, the
Depth.
issue is you're going on about attacking depth. That's the one area where we have depth. I can't knock the attacking depth that season. This season, you've got Chiesa. I'm just going by the first choice this season has been Diaz, Jota, Salah.
Yeah, this season
I've
attack,
got
I have no problem with it.
I've got 3 quality options behind it. I just look at it this way. I would love for
Midfield
Liverpool
depth.
midfield depth.
We need.
You've got and I'm not going to argue that, but I don't think we need 2 or 3. I think 1 gives you 7 options there, which is solid. And you use an Endo like break the glass, emergencies only, shit house me like he did against Crystal Palace.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
But I am happy with Jones as a rotation option in midfield, and I'm happy
with him
I'm
as a
happy
rotation
with
option as well. I have no problem.
I'm happy with Elliot as the backup 10. I think
Yes,
Elliot has got a real
same.
big part to play when he's back from his injury. Defensively,
Is he
obviously,
back, by the way, Elliot?
he's not going to be back for this game. There was a chance he could have been, but I think he's pushing more so for Arsenal,
Leipzig.
which I think Leipzig might be just a little bit too soon as well. And it's not really worth rushing it with him because it was a broken foot. If it goes again, we're missing him for another couple of months. And defensively is where you've got a bit of a problem. Left back, there's not really quality there. And I think we've both sort of understand whatever one we think is the best, but we both agree that left back isn't great. And centre back wise, because there's an unwillingness to use Gomez, he is an option at the minute, but that's not a long term depth option type thing. But all in all, the depth of the football club isn't as bad as is made out. Certain people make out that you've got a starting 11, 3 all right backups, and then crap for the rest of it. Now, maybe I'm being too confident in the likes of Bradley and the likes of Quansah saying that I think they could be really solid options for us and play 20 games a season and perform in those games and help us get through games against the likes of Southampton, etc. I don't think I am, but maybe people see it that way. On your point of, I agree, we make good signings. And yes, in an ideal world, you'd like to make more of them.
Yeah.
But we make good signings because of the way that we make signings in a way. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's this level of
but no
options
one's
is
asking you
always
to
going to
do
be
the
there.
Chelsea or the Man United, Tom. We have never.
No, but-
me and you have sat on stream together. You know, me and you both have never ever given an unrealistic scenario. Not once. We always give realistic options who are affordable. We know how the club operates. Ederson is affordable. Zubimendi is affordable. What's his name? Alan Varela is affordable. Ait Nouri is affordable. Let's not do this because no one is asking us to sign Chouameni and Rudiger. No one.
I know, but it's not. I'm not saying that we were sitting there going Chouameni or no one or etc. I'm looking at the fact that Zubimendi's profile, and as much as I will still clown it on him every time Sociedad drop points because it's fucking hilarious. Him and his little Basque Mountains, yeah, that they're horrendous. He's different to what Varela is, and he's different to what Ederson is because of how he plays.
Profiles.
But that's where I think Ederson and Varela are the guys that you'd put in the team ahead of Szoboszlai to be an engine in there, and you'd still have Gravenberch doing the drop deep link up. If you buy Zubimendi, he takes the drop deep link up role, and then Gravenberch or McAllister steps into the 10. I think it would be different if it was an
That
Edison
would
or
be
a
such a
Brella.
beautiful midfield as well.
Oh yeah, it'd be immense. But I think that's my point. Zubimendi is slightly different in the way of Varela in terms of a play style and the type of things that he does. And if
Do you think
that's
we
the
should get
argument
him in
that's being made,
January?
I think we'll go back for him. I do. If City go in for him, I think we might miss out on him.
If City signs Zubimendi, I'm gonna lose my shit. Honestly, it's not even a joke. It's not even a joke.
You're gonna run the nasty Zubimendi agenda.
That is gonna be hate watch forever. I'm gonna go to San Sebastian and run a stream from there. Burn his Sociedad shirt.
But yeah, I'd like to think that we go back in for him. I don't think we burn any of the bridges with him. I think he had what Gerrard done.
Hell,
basically.
even I'm willing to build the bridge back if he signs for us. Even I'd build it back. Hey, bring me cement, bring me wood, bring me everything, and I'll build the bridge. No problem.
I just think
don't ever call me Jerry Redline of Teranga, you yoga instructor. You yoga instructor fraud. You Pilates fraud. Go ahead.
I just
look stretching. Hold that. Go ahead.
I just look at the transfers, and I don't think me and you've ever agreed on transfers, and it's part of it. And we've been doing this for 3 years, and it's part of the magic. I like the recruitment structure. I like the idea of quality over quantity, even if at points I do think that there has to be a difference that is. Point. Yeah. You do have to bite the bullet at points, but. Just before we move on to one of the topics that I want to discuss, Elliot versus Szoboszlai. Right now, what are your feelings on the three? Who do you think signs? Who do you think goes, if any?
Oh, Palmer won Player of the Month as well.
Yeah.
I love it. Palmer Player of the Month and the Maresca Manager of the Month. This is a good
the Manager of the Month
curse.
case is a good one. The Player of the Month case ain't the big one, but Manager of the Month is.
Both of them are curses, which is good for us. I hope not a single one of our players does it. Let's just keep us safe. What's your question again? Sorry, Elliot Szoboszlai?
No. Just before we move on to that, out of the three, so you got Van Dijk, Salah, Trent. What you thought? Right now, what you say? Who's signing? Who's going? If any.
Van Dijk stays. Trent and Salah leaves. That's my honest thoughts.
I know you said something earlier about how, and I know we were supposed to move on, but I want to touch on this real quick. I know you said earlier that if we lose any of them,
don't worry, I'm not in a hurry. I make time for you, fraud. Go ahead.
If we lose any of them, we're back to the doldrums or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if we kept two, we could get away with one? So let's say, for argument's sake, Van Dijk and Salah signed on for 3 years, but Trent goes to Madrid. Do you think there's anywhere where... So you don't think there's any way that we can do it?
Yeah, not on the way we operate. I think the following. Look, the problem is our operations are not a matter of Van Dijk leaves, I'm going to go get Diomande. Trent leaves, I'm going to go get someone. It wouldn't shock me not one bit if Trent leaves and we go like, Conor Bradley is the Northern Ireland captain and he should stay as the Liverpool starting right back. And then we go buy some random young right back from the academy, from someone's academy, and pretend it's a signing, just like we did with Rio Gomoha. By the way, where's Trent Alexander-Arnold, Tom? He hasn't played from the start of the season. He picked up a knock. He didn't. I'm talking about the whole season.
No. I know, anyway. but that's a good thing. He hasn't to play.
That's the way we operate, unfortunately. If we're the type of club to Trent moves to Madrid and we go sign some elite right back, it's a different thing. But that's just not how we operate. That's why Madrid are successful. That's why all these players are successful. If all three leave, this is what's going to happen. Conor Bradley is the Trent.
I don't even want to talk about all three leagues. That would be fun.
Bradley is the Trent is the new starter, 100%. I promise you, we're not signing a right back. Center back, we go sign Inacio, someone of that caliber, and go like Van Dijk replacement. And right wing, someone of Bakayoko level. Oh, we're at invest. We trust Bakayoko to get 31 GA that Mo Salah gets. So yeah, that's our club.
Yeah, I don't even want to imagine the world.
I'm dancing. That's why I'm dancing. Because it's the last dance.
Maybe I've got a little bit more confidence in the football club. I think if we lost one, we could manage losing one. Would it be as good? No, because you're not going to sign someone as good as the players that would go. But we could manage losing. I think that the one thing
Who we can manage losing?
In terms of but it's not me saying that we go on and win the league. It's just me saying that we don't fall into fucking 8th. We don't become Man United. If we lost Trent, for example, we lose a lot of creativity in the team.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that within 3 years, we'd have found the fix and we'd have made up certain areas of it. It will take us time. It won't be an instant fix.
Said within 3 years shows the problem with this whole conversation.
Yeah, and it is in the sense of we're not going to go and spend 200 million. If we lose Trent in this window, we're not going to go spend 200 million on 5 positions and bang, or at least I don't think we are. So going off the base of it, yes, it would take a year or two to fully settle in. But the one thing that Liverpool Football Club does, and I think you can't disagree with me here, Liverpool Football Club can replace big players when they go. It takes a bit of time, but when a big player leaves, we get the replacements in soon. Whether they bang in. So, I mean, I don't know. I had to do it on a space.
Who was the Mane replacement?
The Mane replacement was Diaz. Came in 6 months before.
Who was the Firmino replacement?
The Firmino replacement was Nunez, and then we panicked and bought Gakpo as well to act as a Firmino replacement for 6 months.
Who was the Firmino replacement?
The Firmino replacement was McAllister and Endo.
Mm-hmm. Endo is the true answer. Don't lie. Because McAllister is like the Wijnaldum replacement.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to be fair, the point would be Gravenberch has actually been your Fabinho at this point in the role that he's had to play.
My question right there.
Yes, they.
Mane to Diaz, Firmino to Nunez,
yes,
Fabinho
but
to Endo.
I'm not saying that you replace them with players of the same quality straight away. Because the one I go to is this.
Don't do the whole goal spread around stuff because then work.
No. I'm not doing that. I'm going to from 2000. Robbie Fowler went to Leeds. We brought in Nicholas Anelka to replace him, and then we've done the stupid thing of not signing him on to a permanent deal and signing El Hadji Diouf instead. But for those 6 months, Anelka had a really solid partnership with Owen, and was a good replacement for Fowler. 2004, Owen goes to Madrid. We bring in.
Are you going back all the way? We're talking about the FSG era.
So in the FSG era, Torres went, and we brought in Suarez in the same window.
We actually bought in Suarez before Torres left. The Torres replacement was Andy Carroll. Carry on. Suarez, you can't lie to me. I've been a Liverpool fan forever, bro. I remember all this shit. Don't try to trick your way, weasel your way around me. The Torres replacement was Andy Carroll. Go ahead.
No, but it's the truth. Torres went, and we had a replacement there in Suarez.
No, Suarez was signed already. We signed Andy Carroll as the Torres replacement. Me and you both know that. There's no need to lie. Go ahead.
Suarez goes. Within 2 years, Roberto Firmino was at the football club.
No, Suarez goes. We replaced him with Christian Benteke.
Yes, no, because that was fucking Roger. Who was up front for Liverpool? I'm not saying that within the next 2 years, Benteke was fucking ostracized from the football club by January.
When Suarez left in 14-15, his replacement was Benteke and Divock Origi. Those were the two replacements.
Ironically, his replacement in 14-15 was Balotelli. But my point was, Liverpool Football Club have never had a problem with attackers.
Okay, and go ahead, Tom.
We've never
Sterling left. Who was his replacement?
Sterling left in 15-16. We signed Mane
Ricky
in 16.
Lambert.
No, Ricky Lambert had left by that time. So Sterling left. Sterling left in 15-16. In 16-17, in 16-17 we signed a man called Sadio Mane.
Sterling didn't leave in 15-16. Yeah, okay, he did. He did play the Rodgers last season. Yeah.
So
no, actually, he didn't. He left in 14-15. Sorry, you're wrong.
No, so he left in the summer of 15-16. So he left in the summer of 2015. Mane joined in the summer of 2016. So my point is, within a year or two, Liverpool typically replace their big players. Now, whether it is of the same ilk or not, most of the time it's not straight away. But in a lot of situations, we get the replacements, and they,
I'm just convinced you
step up.
Indirectly that you realize we don't replace players well.
No, we do. You're not going to change my mind on that. Do I think that we're a club who loses a world class player and buys a world class player to replace them? No. And that is part of the problem. That's the fucking Hodgson era, man. He was our
Remember
fucking
that
Mash.
shit right there?
He wasn't even our Mascherano replacements. He was just fucking signed. We just signed him.
Danny Wilson.
We just signed him.
Yeah.
But before we move on to Elliot and Soboslai, we've got a super chat here from my guy Gregory, who says legacy. He doesn't want the Gerrard treatment. Now people know what the Gerrard treatment is. I don't think I need to go into that. I just would be very fuming if Trent went on a free. I think the free part bothers me a lot as well. You can at least get a fee for the football club. But a topic that has been raging on.
Can you put up Faraz's comment, please?
No. I'm in
Put
control.
it up. Just put it up.
I'm in control.
Name 2 players replaced out of 50, and it goes, we replace players well, Husam. We replace players. Have some shame and decorum. You're so fraudulent. We didn't even replace Lovren, bro. You're such a liar. Stop it.
We did. We got Konate.
You're acting like Konate is the Lovren replacement. Oh my god, this is a new low even for you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But a subject that has been thrown about a lot recently. Elliot or Soboslai.
I saw what Lois is tweeting. Apparently, people are calling Elliot fat and short.
Yeah,
That's what people are calling him.
Yeah. They're saying that
he's watching, by the way.
They're saying that I was in that space earlier. They're saying that Elliot is an academy level footballer who isn't good enough for Liverpool.
Who said this? Can you name names?
Isn't I don't know his name. It was is G9 on Twitter. That was his thing. I don't know who he is.
Oh, that's Gio. G9. Big up Gio though.
Gio was saying that he's an academy level footballer who shouldn't start for Liverpool.
Elliot's original position, Tom, is the 10.
Mm-hmm.
We keep the same energy around here. We don't do different energies for different players. Same energy all the time. Shout out to Footage Admo. Same energy all the time. When it comes to Harvey Elliott, if you're playing in the position in which you're supposed to cook and you don't cook, fuck blaming anyone else but Harvey himself. This is just how I'm going to operate from now on. I'm not going to do any of this bullshit where people sit up here and blame everyone else and it's everyone else's fault and he hasn't gotten a chance and blah, blah, blah. I did the same thing to Soboslai this season. Soboslai is supposed to be the 10. He's playing in the 10 and he's not playing like a 10 or like a 10 should be. Doesn't have enough technique to play the 10. Elliot is 180 degrees opposite of Soboslai.
Mm-hmm.
No power whatsoever. Pace is probably 50% the pace of Soboslai. But technique is probably 2 levels above Soboslai. Meaning, right now, Tom, who would you trust to make a through ball more? Elliot or Soboslai?
Elliot.
Who would you trust to play interchange with Mo Salah more? Elliot or Soboslai?
Elliot.
Who would you trust to play a first-time ball, diagonals, passes, etc., technique, vision?
Elliot.
Same. So, those, never ever call Soboslai a winger ever again, please. Please. Imagine a winger that just runs around. Oh my God. That reminds me of Stuart Downing. He had a massive engine. Anyway, Stuart Downing never stopped running. Every time he left the pitch, his whole shirt was sweaty.
He ended up with fucking left back for us.
Yeah, Stuart Downing, that's what we're comparing him to. And I compared them at the start of the stream to Conor Gallagher. So, I'm a big fan of Elliot. And I think Soboslai and Elliot need to be used in different roles for different teams. Prime example, easy example. We go to Emirates away next season. Who are you starting in the 10?
Soboslai.
Next week, sorry. Same. We're playing Southampton at home. Who are you starting at the 10?
Elliot.
Problem solved. So why do we have to just say one is shit, one is good? They play different roles on the team. Exactly. Man United away, I want Soboslai. City away, I want Soboslai. Because, I don't give a fuck about Elliot through passes against Man City. I need to press their DM. I need someone to press Kovacic. Run, Sobo, run. That's what you're good at. Run, fraud, run. That's what we need. So, yeah, I'm here for it, bro. Listen, both of them are our players. Both of them are our players. Just tabang any forward line player who plays in the Bundesliga. You could take any statistic, you could take anything, and you could shove it where the sun don't shine because Timo Werner was literally scored 500 goals over there. Let's not go through all the 500 examples. Jadon Sancho, how many GA did he have in that league? Stop it, please. That's why I don't want Marmoush, because I watch him for Egypt. He ain't that good. Anyway,
I want to touch on this from Faraz. Why are we trying to hold Elliot to a revelation standard? I don't think anyone is trying to hold him to a revelation standard. I think
He means relegation.
But I don't even think that. I think you've got to look at Elliot. Harvey Elliott last year got the second most assists for Liverpool. Oh, sorry, third behind Nunez and Salah. And, you know, he's our midfielder with the most assists last season. And we were seeing some of the chances that he created that were getting spurned were crazy. This is one of the best young creators in the Premier League. 100% it is. Whilst we agree, and I completely agree with Husam in that when we're going to the top teams away from home, or at home even, when we're going up against, you know, a City, an Arsenal, a Madrid, I need Szoboszlai in his engine.
Yeah.
Because I need to be physical in that midfield. I need to win the battle. But I hark back to this. Nottingham Forest at home this season. That game was crying out for Harvey Elliott. A little bit of quality in the final third. Someone who can play the decisive pass. Not what Szoboszlai was doing. And with Elliott coming back, I do think people have forgotten just what he does. He ended last season very well for us. Very, very well. This season, he had a very good pre-season. I remember that performance against Arsenal in pre-season. 2 really good assists. This is a guy who I know what he brings to the team, and it's something that we lack off the bench and in certain games starting. And I feel like a problem with the online fan base of this football club at times is it's either one or the other. Not saying you. I'm not saying you. I'm on about fucking Twitter.
Don't do the whole, please don't start this top red notion in the stream. Please don't do this whole online fan base stuff.
No. I'm on about the cesspit of Twitter where people run agendas. It's one or the other. You can't have both work in your team, according to Twitter. You've got to have one or the other. You can have both, and both will play an important part for Liverpool this season. If Harvey Elliott hadn't broken his foot, I think Liverpool would have scored more goals this season, and I think Liverpool would not have lost a game this season. I really do. And the idea that, look, can we feel underwhelmed by Szoboszlai in his time at Liverpool? Yeah. He cost 60 million quid, and we're not seeing what we typically expect from a 10. But he is doing a job. Do we think, is it the job that we signed him for? No. Is it a job that many people want him to do? No. But he is doing a job, and I can't knock that.
I'll give you the prime example of this whole conversation. Lewis was in the chat earlier on because he follows me everywhere now just to clip me up. Szoboszlai is not, Lewis is not a fan of Gallagher at all. But even Lewis admitted, in the big game, you need Gallagher. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with this. There is nothing wrong to say, in the big game, I need Szoboszlai to run at someone. We're going away to the Emirates next week. In the week that we go away to the Emirates, if I've got Szoboszlai running at Declan Rice consistently, I'm forcing Declan Rice to play out of the press, which is a weakness for him. That is a tactical role in the team. Not everyone needs to have the technique of Mo Salah. Not everyone needs to have the technique of Trent or Van Dijk. Some players have lower technique, and it's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. Elliot, by the way, doesn't have as much technique as Mo, or doesn't have as much technique as Trent. But he has he's probably the tier below them. You know, like he's the tier below.
Yeah, he's got really good close control.
Yeah, so he's a tier above Szoboszlai, but a tier below those two. That's why.
Szoboszlai is annoying now because he shows in moments that he's got real good technique. He's shown me some really good passes.
I just wish he could make quicker decisions. There was a moment against Crystal Palace where me and you both punched the TV, where the guy dribbled past 2 players. Perfect space for any natural number 10 to shoot, and he decides to take an extra dribble completely unnecessarily.
You know what makes me laugh?
I genuinely believe Elliot takes a shot in that moment.
Yeah.
Because he dribbled past 2 players to shoot. And by the way, even if Szoboszlai misses, I don't care. People have been watching my watch-along, a lot of the people in the chat, even from the start of the season. I didn't say, oh my God, why are you shooting? No. I like it. Take initiative, take risks. I have no problem with risk-taking. That's why I'm a massive fan of Trent. Because Trent a lot of times takes the risk and it might not work out, but I like risk taking. You get what I'm saying? I like people who take risks. So if Szoboszlai was on 5 goals, would I change my opinion?
Yes. He'd be our top scorer then. I probably wouldn't say his end product is a problem.
Of course. And regarding this conversation, by the way, It's the same thing that Slot said. So it's not like me and Tom are making shit up. Slot himself said, listen, we need him to get more GA. And this is normal, by the way, because you should expect your 10 to have some form of GA. He doesn't need to have 15 goals and 10 assists. I'm not saying he should have an
I'm not expecting
season.
Mesut Ozil in my 10
Yeah.
for Liverpool.
I'm expecting
I'm not expecting that.
7 goals and 12 assists.
I'd hope for 15 GA minimum a season from me 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 7 goals, nothing crazy, and 12 assists. That's it. You need to have effectiveness. That's why Forest, Tom just mentioned it, and he's 100% correct. Nottingham Forest needed Harvey Elliott because Harvey Elliott can play that ball in behind. He can play that through ball, which is what you need. Sometimes you need technique. Sometimes you need decision making. And what pisses me off with Szoboszlai, sometimes he does stuff so well. He gets into the position, and when it's time to like shoot, pass,
he
dribble.
does all
Why?
the build up. He beats the man. He shows the pace. He shows the strength. And then when it comes to make the decision, it's the same thing you were battering Curtis Jones about for years.
Exactly.
He passes when he needs to shoot. He shoots when he needs to pass. And that needs to be worked out. Now, Gregory, yeah, I appreciate the super chat. 0 improvements in 4 years. Rotation played at best. I can only assume you're going on about Harvey Elliott here, in which case that would be a mental thing to say we've seen 0 improvement from Harvey Elliott in his time at Liverpool. I think he's grown into one of the...
Jones, but I could be wrong.
If he's referring to Jones, I still think he's wrong. I still think that you've seen improvements from Jones. Is it the improvements that everyone thought you were going to see? No, but I definitely think Jones has improved as a footballer.
If Jones is ever leading the counter-attack, I know it's counter-attack or win. So, no.
I don't know.
You know, I have no problem if we're like running on the counter-attack and like a guy fucks up the pass. Obviously, he shouldn't fuck up every pass, but like, let's say he attempts 4 and he fucks up 2 of them. That's fine. But like, I just hate when players don't take risks and always want to play it safe. That just turns me off a footballer. I love risk-taking. But I think I love Mo Salah so much. He's probably the highest risk taker on this whole team. Shoot, pass, cross, everything. Just risk. And with risk comes reward. This is life, Tom. If you never made the investment of coming on Don Husam, if you never made the risk of coming on my channel, you know, like you are getting rewarded now. This is just how life operates, brother. You know, risk and reward. If Husam sitting on his couch went like, this YouTube thing will never work for me. I never took the risk of making a YouTube channel, fucking filming on an Android for 1.5 years. This wouldn't be the same thing now. So you always have to take risks and hopefully that the rewards match it. And if the rewards don't match it, it's okay. As long as you take the fucking risk. That's it.
Me and Husam very rarely agree on Curtis Jones. I think there has been improvements. I do still think there are some problems. He's not perfect, but I don't think this is the same player that was how can I put it best? An underwhelming prospect in 2021, who you worry was just going to start stagnating and struggling. I feel like he has improved. Is his decision making perfect yet? No, but it's better. And I feel like there's still certain problems there, but I think there has been an improvement from him. Big up to my guy, Footy Judge Mo, as well. Listen to what you're saying, like the video. I should be saying that more, but I'm very bad at this. I trust in the people's like the video. And the last one before we go, because it is 1 o'clock here. I think it's either 3 or 4 o'clock where you are.
3:07.
Yeah, we're gonna do this last topic and then wrap it up, people. So if you've got any questions, I need to put them in the chat now before we finish up. Mamardashvili versus Alisson. Now, Mamardashvili come out this week and said that when he joins Liverpool, he's not joining to be the number 2 keeper. He's coming because he feels he's ready to take that number 1 jersey. And there's been an argument made by people that I disagree with, but there has been an argument made by people saying that Alisson's injury problems with his hamstrings and his groin could push Mamardashvili to be the starter next season, soon, which we didn't really expect. If Alisson's injury problems continue to plague him and he misses another 10 games this season, another 15 games this season, before, Prem games, Champions League games, whatever, and we're getting close to 20 games missed this season from him, are you willing to move him on? Or are you fully in the idea that 30 games of Alisson's better than 50 of Mamardashvili?
Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world. Simple as. I think Mamardashvili coming in will mean that Kevin Kelleher is leaving, which is what we
Yeah, yeah.
expected anyway a summer ago. But
I'm
it's
shocked he's
happening.
still here, to be honest.
Yeah, same. But he's probably going to leave and find first team football elsewhere, Kelleher. Here's the thing with this goalkeeper situation. I think Mamardashvili at least learns off of Alisson for 1 year. Minimum 1 year of just learning under Alisson. Just practicing with him, learning from him, just becoming that next big thing. And listen, Mamardashvili comes in, plays all the League Cup games, all the FA Cup games, hopefully a couple of Champions League games here and there. He will gain that experience. But when you have the best goalkeeper in the world that can only be compared with Courtois on the whole planet, you don't just push that to the side just because he has a couple of injuries here or there. You know, yes, he's quite injury prone for a goalkeeper because you don't expect keepers to get injured as often. However, when someone saves that many one-on-ones, when someone saves you out of situations that much times, you're not just willing to let that go for Mamardashvili. That's just not how football works. I understand the concerns over injuries, but I'm a massive Alisson fan, and I'm not willing to let go of Alisson just yet, even with his injury record. I'm really not. So, yeah. Look who's in the chat. Look.
Big ups, Cal, Mr. Fencer to himself. He'd be sitting
Callum.
here right now going, I hear both sides. I hear why you let Alisson go. But I don't know.
He'd be sat there going like, I hear where Tom is coming from because Alisson is injury prone. And at the same time, Husam is right because Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world. That's just Callum right there. And it's funny because Callum decided to team up with you last Tuesday and then he fell on his face. And I'm like, never team up with Tom Little ever again. That stream we have every Tuesday is iconic. Guys, Tuesday 1:30, I'm going to show you with these two because Tom is going to get cooked and Callum is going to get cooked this Tuesday.
I don't ever get cooked.
First of all, stop it. I've ruined you 100 times. Here's the thing with this Tom and Callum cooking. This Tuesday, if we win 3-0 or 4-1, I'm cooking Tom and Callum as well. Because both of them said it won't be as easy a game as Husam makes out. So when I bring them both in, I'm going to have a cigar ready, smoke it in their faces.
The thing is though, Husam, that'd be the happiest cooking I'd ever receive. If we beat Chelsea 4-1, I will sit there and let you say whatever you want. Because we've just beat
Callum,
Chelsea
1:30 Tuesday, don't bottle it, eh? Because I know you can bottle it every now and then. Don't bottle it, Callum. 1:30. When we win 4-1, you better be there. 1:30 Tuesday. I'm gonna cook your ass. I'm gonna air fry you. I'm gonna air fry you and Tom. Talking about, I don't think it's gonna be an easy game like Husam said. I can't wait for the full-time whistle. I'm gonna cook the Liverpool fans and the Chelsea fans. We're gonna cook everyone. I'm gonna cook just Taban because he says you're a jinx. And I'm gonna cook every single Chelsea fan. I'm gonna call every Chelsea fan I have in my contact list. I'm gonna call them. Every single one of them. I'm gonna call Don. I'm gonna call Ches. I'm gonna call Lewis. I'm gonna call Ziad. I'm gonna call Ahmed. I'm gonna call Matisse. I'm gonna call every single Chelsea fan I know on this planet. Cal and Tom added to the list. Nah, I won't say that because they still predicted the Liverpool win, but they're on my separate list. You know, they're not on a list. They're on a note. They're on a what's it called? The yellow note thing. They're on that thing.
So what we're on sticky notes just attached to the side of it.
Yeah, just not sticky notes. Callum going like, I don't think it's going to be an easy game. And Callum is just so typical Callum. When I ask him for the prediction, he's like 2-1 Liverpool. I'm like, come on, Callum. 2-1 Liverpool. That's just the easiest scoreline to predict, you know. But anyway, I'm going to cook your asses anyway.
Right then, last question before we wrap it up. How long do you think Alisson stays at Liverpool for? Obviously, his contract's up in 2027. He's one of the few big guys that we actually tied down to a long-term deal. Don't know why we didn't do that more often. Seemed very successful so far. Do you think he sees out that contract, or do you think we move him on before with the Saudi offer or whatever and promote Mamad?
I think 3 years. I think this year and 2 more years. I think this year and next year probably Mamardashvili becomes our second choice goalkeeper and he does it 1 more season and then he just takes over from Alisson. Because you need to understand something with keepers, Tom. Mamardashvili is how old? 24? Keepers don't become really at their best. Yeah, but keepers don't really become at their best till they're 27, 28 anyway. Even Alisson himself, even Courtois, every single keeper, you don't hit those heights until you're 27, 28. When is the best time we saw De Gea? 27, 28. Buffon, same thing. Like, you need them to be older, more mature, more experienced. So I think that's eventually when he leaves. I'd say 2 more years. This season and 2 more seasons.
So you think 24, 25 this season, 25, 26.
Yep, yeah. That's with Mamardashvili becoming second choice, and 1 more season,
27,
and then we let go.
So you think we'd let him go on a free? Yeah, I don't see him
No,
signing
I
a
think
new
we give
deal
him an
now.
extension. Obviously, yeah,
You,
we give him an
you
extension.
think we give him a new deal? Fair enough.
And by the way, I'm telling you
I'd
something
never
right
be
now.
shocked.
Alisson ain't leaving to Saudi. When Alisson contract expires, he's probably going to go to Juve or something like that.
Do you not think he's going to want that massive payday in Saudi with the likes of Neymar and that?
He can
Go
get
chill
that
out
anyway
there.
because he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know how.
You're telling me Al Nassr wouldn't sign Alisson when he's 38? Yes, they would. So yeah, let's not even go there.
Fair enough. But people, we're going to wrap it up there because it is 1:15 in the morning here, 3:15 in Jordan. Big ups to Sam for giving so much time. You know, Hassam X Tom was one of the big things on the This Is Football YouTube channel. Every week, me and him clashing when we were horrendous. Then last year, clashing when we were good. Doesn't matter, we clash. we clash regardless. I don't think
We
we've
were
ever agreed
fighting
on
when we
anything.
were top of the league as well. That's the funny part.
I think the only thing we've ever agreed on, the only stream we've ever had where there was no arguments, was when we beat United 7-0.
Zero arguments, just straight cooking.
We just went at it. But
imagine we beat Chelsea 7-0. Just imagine.
Oh
Imagine how much fun I'd fucking have on the internet. Tommy, you need to understand something. I'm the ultimate villain of the Chelsea fan. There is not a single,
God.
you know, I made a list. I'm on every single Chelsea fan list.
Oh,
All
I
of
know.
them.
I know.
And I'm not just on the list, I'm the top of the list. I'm like Husam. One guy tweeted, he was like, I can't wait for 3 points this Sunday to abuse Don Husam. Like, someone literally tweeted that. So like, I can't wait. If we win like 5-0, 6-0 or something, even exceeding my own expectations, Chelsea fans, log out from YouTube. Log out from this application. I'm going to be wearing a black suit to your funeral. I'll turn this mic black. I'll get a cigar. I will call myself on every single stream. Hello, everyone. I've just joined the channel. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. The Chelsea Daddy is here. That's what I'm going to say. Every single introduction. Hello, Footy Judge Mo. Yes, nice to be here. The Chelsea Daddy is back. I'm going to say this to every single Chelsea fan. You're going to have to call me your dad for the next, till we play you at Stamford Bridge. Every single game. If we just give them the 7-up, ooh,
I think 5-0. If it's anything like 5-0 or above,
3-0 or above, we cook them.
No, but 5-0 or above, you're doing the most. And people are done for. People are done for. But yeah, this obviously I still do my shows with Husam on a Tuesday with Mr. Fencer to Cal himself, who makes us both really happy because he backs both our arguments. Apart from when I say Matheus Cunha, and then he just he throws me to the wolves. Then I still stand by that Matheus Cunha shout.
He's like, nope.
You should like that. You should like that Matheus Cunha shout as well. Because he got a hat trick against Chelsea last season. He made Lewis cry.
If you tell me Cunha or Nunez, I choose Cunha.
Yeah, but I could tell you Nunez or Dan's, and I know who you'd pick.
Jadon Dan's, let's go. Jadon Dan's better than Nunez. I'm all for it.
I did not deserve that. I stand by that Matheus Cunha shout. But I'm there every Tuesday, 1:30. It is biasly the best Liverpool show on the entire platform. And I am back, people. I'll put it this way. For the first time in my entire YouTube career, I have a schedule. I have written out a schedule with what I'm going to do up until the new year. So you are actually going to see this more often than not. And I will be bringing Husam back on the channel plenty of times because I know people love to watch me and Husam agree on absolutely nothing. And I will also be bringing on more rivals when we play the big games. We bring on more Liverpool fans. This is the true revival of the channel. But we're going to wrap it up there, people. Before we go, Mr. Husam, thank you so much for your time. Anything you got to plug? What is the schedule for Don Husam this weekend before Chelsea's funeral?
I mean, I'm doing a Liverpool stream tomorrow at 11, inshallah. Probably going to get Jamie Phillips, Ends, Man TV, a couple of the guys on there as well.
I will unfortunately not be there, people, as I will be out drunk.
Yes. We've got 2 watch-alongs on Saturday, inshallah, and then the big one on Sunday.
Who's the watch-alongs on Saturday?
United Brentford. No one gives a fuck about Spurs. And I'm doing Arsenal Bournemouth.
When's Arsenal? Is that the later kickoff?
Yes, 5:30.
Oh, I'll go out for that game. I'll enjoy that.
Let's go.
And then arguably the most defining moments of your YouTube career is on Sunday.
It's funny because people expect me to do a Wolves City watch along. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get plenty of sleep. Gonna wake up. I'm gonna eat half a chicken, go to the gym, drink about 3 scoops of protein powder, and then I'm gonna go to the stream just so I'm ready for war.
Can I also just ask why people want to see a Wolves versus City watch along? Wolves are bottom. Well, I don't know if people know this stat, but Wolves have picked up 5 Premier League points out of a possible last 66. They have the worst run of form in Premier League history, and we're sitting there going, they're the guys that are going to beat City.
Big up Gary O'Neill.
You know he was our former under-21 assistant.
Yeah, I know he was involved.
Mental. And there were people in the summer saying, "Give him the job." They were dark days, man. They were dark days.
God help me. God help me.
Mind you, speaking of managers, Amorim has been so heavily linked with City, and I want to cry.
Yeah.
All my prop was for nothing, man. But that's a topic for another day, probably a Monday show, which is you'll see what I'm talking about on that day. But gonna leave yous, people. Big ups to Siddy, Rapstar, and Gregory for the super chats. Much love. Love yous, leave yous in a bit. Like the video as well, because I need to keep saying that. Subscribe to the channel. Husam's channel is in the title now. I put that in there. I've learned how to do that. Love yous, leave yous, everyone. In a bit. Ta-ra, people. Ta-ra.